Welcome back to the deep dive. We're looking at it through the lens of psychology, sociology, and art history.
Basically dissecting it as a visual commentary on our digital lives.
And the core idea here, which I found fascinating, is this concept of post-animation digital expressionism.
It's a bit of a mouthful, I know.
Yeah.
But it just means she's building this bridge between the explosive energy of animation and, well, the complex feelings of being a person today.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. The historical foundation, her technical DNA, so to speak.
Right. The sources mention she started drawing incredibly young, around 3, and was really influenced by those dense, iconic anime films.
Like Ghost in the Shell and Akira.
Exactly. But the most important piece of the puzzle is her professional background. She came up through animation studios.
Gainax and Trigger, right.
The very same.
Yeah.
And she made a conscious choice to keep illustration as a kind of side challenge. But she never, ever stopped thinking like an animator.
Which means her illustrations are created like, what was the term, Genga?
Genga, yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, Genga are the keyframes in animation.
So not the in-between frames that create smooth motion, but the big important ones.
The pivotal drawings. The start or end of an action or the moment of peak drama. Animation is all about pursuing continuous movement. But what she does is different.
How so?
She isolates that one single moment of maximum power. She pursues what you could call instantaneous explosive power.
So she's taking the most energetic frame, freezing it, and then just packing it with narrative tension.
You got it.
Yeah.
And that's why a still image from her feels like it's about to burst into motion. All the lines, the flow of the hair, the perspective,
Yeah.
it creates this path for your eyes,
A path that feels, as one source put it, flowy and delicate.
but still incredibly intense. And that flow, that use of line, connects her all the way back into Japanese art history.
You mean like ukiyo-e?
Absolutely. You can see the lineage there. In her confident outlines, the way she compresses space, and of course the influence of 20th century cell animation is obvious in her use of color.
But the sources also argue that her style isn't just an evolution, it's an active, a rebellion almost.
It is. Specifically, it's a rebellion against Takashi Murakami's superflat concept, which was hugely influential.
Right, Murakami's whole thing was about embracing two-dimensionality, the flatness of the screen.
The celebration of the surface, yeah. Well, Yoneyama Mai does the complete opposite. She uses these incredibly advanced digital tools, extreme perspectives, complex light filtering,
To do what exactly?
to deliberately reintroduce a profound sense of depth. She's fighting against the flat screen by creating three-dimensional perception on the two-dimensional screen.
So she's achieving this almost classical, complex sense of space, but with totally modern digital tools.
And that's why her style gets labeled digital Baroque.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Like the original Baroque art, it's gorgeous, complex, full of dramatic light and shadow. It's incredibly ornate.
Okay, that sets the technical stage. So now let's unpack how this mastery of digital depth and energy actually translates into a psychological response from us, the viewers.
Right, this is where we get into audience psychology. And one of the most powerful ideas here is something called sensory compensation.
Sensory compensation, what's that?
Well, think about how we live our lives now, mostly through screens. Our sense of touch, of smell, of actual physical presence, it's all diminished.
We're basically starved for real sensory input.
We are. And Yoneyama Mai's art compensates for that. She renders things with such incredible detail, the look of cold liquid, the texture of skin, the fuzz of electronic noise.
But it almost feels real.
It triggers a kind of synesthesia, an emotional linkage. Your brain sees the hyper-detailed image of cold glass, and it generates a phantom sensation of cold. You feel it.
Wow. So it's giving our brain a jolt of something it's missing, a kind of visual dopamine shot.
Visual shock, exactly. It satisfies a physiological craving we have for high-frequency stimulation. But, and this is crucial, it does it without making us anxious.
How does she manage that? I mean, her pictures are packed with detail. You'd think it would be overwhelming.
It would be, but she's a master of what you could call cognitive load balance.
Okay.
So, while the background in clothes might have 4 layers of rendered hair or incredibly complex folds, the visual center, almost always the character's face or eyes, is perfectly, sharply clear.
I see. So the contrast between the complexity and the clarity guides your eye.
It reduces the cognitive strain. Your brain gets all the complexity it craves, but it doesn't have to work hard to figure out where to look. It's very efficient.
It also makes you want to look again and again to spot new details.
Yes, it satisfies that need for rewatchability, or Naikandu in Japanese.
Yeah.
And technically, she often uses the golden ratio to guide your eye.
The spiral pattern.
Look closely at the sweep of a character's hair or a flowing ribbon. You'll often find it's a perfect spiral leading your gaze straight to the face.
And she also uses photographic techniques like a shallow depth of field.
Blurring the foreground and background. That's absolutely key for creating a sense of intimacy. It pulls you right into the frame like you're standing right there.
And the characters themselves, they have this very specific emotional quality, a kind of vulnerability with the wet eyes and translucent skin, but they're also very resilient.
Resilient vulnerability. That's the perfect term for it. And it's a huge psychological hook. It melts the coldness you sometimes get with digital art and creates real empathy.
But they're not, screaming or crying. The emotion is very contained.
It's what some of the essays called emotional blunting. The characters are calm, maybe a little repressed.
So it's not about giving us a big emotional release.
No, it's controlled resonance. It's a low-risk emotional investment for the viewer. The art acts like a mirror. It validates your own feelings of, say, quiet struggle or loneliness, but it doesn't demand you process some huge, intense drama.
It's safe communication.
In a very unsafe, very volatile digital world, yes.
Which brings us perfectly to the sociological side of this. Because her art seems to be the perfect visualization of what it means to even have an identity in the age of social media.
Oh, absolutely. Her work, especially some of her series like Ego, is a direct commentary on that.
When you see her characters overlapping or kind of peeling away from an older version of themselves,
She is visualizing the sociological concept of the fragmented digital self.
which we all have now, right? Your work self, your online persona, your private self.
And they don't always line up. Her art gives a visual form to that reality.
Yeah.
It shows an identity that is beautiful and curated, but also deeply alienating because it's no longer a single unified thing.
It's the experience of living across multiple screens.
Exactly, which is probably why she's so perfect for those screens.
Yeah.
Why she's such powerful visual currency on platforms like Twitter and Instagram.
Let's talk about that. What makes her art so algorithm-friendly?
From a sociological view, she is the absolute master of scroll-stopping power. Her art is engineered for that environment. The high contrast, the super clear subject matter, even the use of graphic elements like text.
It all means that even as a tiny thumbnail, it's instantly recognizable.
It grabs you. It's highly rational composition designed to trigger the maximum emotional effect in the shortest amount of time.
Which also connects to a bigger shift in art history that the sources mention, this idea of posthumanism.
Right. For most of history, art was about mimicking nature, the perfect landscape, the perfect person. Yoneyama Mai's focus has shifted. She's interested in mimicking the medium itself.
Meaning, she's deliberately using the flaws of the digital process.
Yes. All those signature effects, the digital noise, the lens flare, that little RGB color split called chromatic aberration.
Those are technically glitches.
They're machine language errors, flaws in a camera lens or a digital render. But she uses them as an artistic choice. She's not hiding the fact that this is a digital creation. She's celebrating it.
So the digital landscape itself has become the new nature to be explored and represented.
That's the idea. She's documenting the aesthetic potential of the machine, of the code itself.
And just to close the loop on the emotional side, let's go back to that feeling of isolation in her work. Her characters are almost always alone.
And that's maybe the most profound sociological point. It's not just personal sadness. It's a visual metaphor for structural loneliness.
What do you mean by that?
It reflects the reality of our lives now. Highly individualized, urban, driven by platforms where we're supposedly hyper-connected, but often feel this deep underlying solitude. Her art captures that feeling perfectly.
So when you put it all together, our deep dive really shows that Mai Yoneyama's success is anything but an accident. It's this incredible synthesis.
It is. It's stitching together the soul of animation, the cold logic of graphic design, cutting-edge digital methods, and a really delicate understanding of the modern psyche.
She's the visual architect of our era. Her work hits so hard, not just because it looks cool, but because it accurately simulates the way we feel and live right now.
She uses something that feels like algorithm-like precision to create something that feels like raw human emotion. It's a powerful statement that even as AI art emerges, meticulous human craft can create something truly essential.
It's an anchor of human skill in a digital ocean.
And that leads to the final thought, the final provocation for you to consider. Her work is massively popular, it sets trends, it's everywhere. Yet it's often kept outside the gates of the pure art world, the museums and the high-end galleries.
Is it because she's too popular? Or too honest about what our world looks like now?
That's the question. Her paintings force us to ask something really crucial. In an era where our emotions, our identities, and even our sense of beauty are so highly designed and filtered through code, how can a person still be genuinely moved?
That is definitely something to think about the next time one of her images stops your thumb mid-scroll.